like you said, very therapeutic to just sort of get it all off the chest. And so I feel like there's still an appetite to discuss a little bit of what's wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs right now, at least in our view. So we're going to kick off the program talking about that. We'll try to transition away from it a little bit later on. Our text line number, 913-586-7965. If you have thoughts on what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, right? What's going wrong, what you think is going right that the Chiefs could maybe use more of, all those things are open for the discussion. But I'll begin this. I was watching our Chiefs Take Tuesday on social media this morning, and I'm listening to Dusty say that he's the only guy in the office who thinks the Chiefs won't make the playoffs, that the season's over. Let me just preface by saying Dusty is not the only guy in the office that believes that. Because I am also of the opinion that I have no faith, no confidence whatsoever that this Kansas City Chiefs team can make the postseason. Not just because of what we've seen on the field from the Kansas City Chiefs, but because of what we've seen from the other teams in the AFC that they are vying for playoff spots against, and what their schedule looks like versus what the Chiefs' schedule looks like. So just kind of want to start it off by saying that good, bad, or otherwise. And yeah, I know, people yesterday were telling me like, how, you're just going to doubt the Chiefs. You're a fair weather fan. No, I'm not. I'm as big a Chiefs fan as anybody else is. But I try to remove those rose-colored glasses when I watch the Kansas City Chiefs play football and look at it from the perspective of this team doesn't have that strike when the iron's, that killer mentality I don't think that they used to have. That when the moments were the brightest, what was it that Andy said several years, when things are grim, be the grim reaper, right? That he allegedly told Mahomes. They just don't seem to have that gear anymore. Like they've always been they've had this innate ability to just turn things on and off whenever it suited them, where they played around with their food and they let their opponent stay in the game. But in that fourth quarter, when it came down to those last 2 or 3 drives of the football game, they always did what was necessary to get the ultimate prize, which was the win. And now it just doesn't seem like that's happening anymore. And why is that? Well, you said hubris, and I love your use of that word, because this football team under Patrick Mahomes, and frankly, even a little bit before Patrick Mahomes, has only known success in the regular season. And frankly, in the postseason, for that matter, especially since 15 became the signal caller. They have made the playoffs every single year since 2014, prior to Mahomes' arrival and prior to him taking over for Alex Smith. Yeah, 2015. This is what they're accustomed to. And now that they just sort of had this expectation that it's going to come their way. They've won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. They've been to 5 in 7 years. This is just what they do. And because of that, I don't feel like they have that, what I mentioned earlier, that ability to just step on the opponent's neck when it's necessary. And it happened not once, but twice on Sunday. Chiefs get the football back up 19-16 with 8 minutes left in the football game. An opportunity to drive the length of the field, score a touchdown, put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, right? And they don't do that. 3 and out. 3 plays, 8 yards, punt. The next, Broncos go down, kick a field goal. It's a 19-19 game. Chiefs get the football back again with 4 minutes left. An opportunity to drive down the field, kick a field goal, and win the football game. And yet another 3 and out. They got the football twice in the last 8 minutes of the game when they were either leading or tied and did absolutely nothing with it. That is completely devoid of what we have seen Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense do since the day he took over as the starting quarterback. I mean, not even then. Dating back to that Week 17 game against the Broncos, the year that his rookie year, before he became the starter. It's just what he's always done. And this year, that hasn't happened. I mean, I remember watching the Jacksonville game, and when the Chiefs got the football back after Jacksonville had scored, for the first time in my life as a Chiefs fan with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, I had doubt that they were going to go down and score points. And that's exactly what happened. They got the football back against the Buffalo Bills, a chance to take the lead late and win the football game. I had doubt that they would be able to do it. And it just, for some reason, this year keeps happening over and over and over and over. And I hate to put all the blame on Patrick Mahomes because he does not shoulder the majority of the blame by any means. Does he shoulder some of it? Absolutely. It's his job as the quarterback. And he made mistakes throughout the football game. He missed Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton on deep balls in the first drive of the football game, both of which likely go for 6, likely are touchdowns in that first drive of the football game. He misses both of those throws. He, of course, has that red zone rollout interception that cost the Chiefs 3 points, which in hindsight were absolutely monumental when it came to this football game because you end up losing by 3 points. So he is not completely exempt from the blame for this Chiefs team, but I'm not going to come out here and say that he is wholly to blame for what's going on right now. I think that Andy Reid obviously shoulders the majority of this, and do not take that as me trying to say that Andy Reid deserves to be fired. That is not what I am saying at all. The guy's taken this team to 5 Super Bowls in 7 years, and they've won 3 of them. He has absolutely earned the benefit of the doubt. But you can't sit here and throw blame around and not throw it to the head coach of this football team. You know, I heard Alex say yesterday that comparing the relationship that Andy Reid and Brett Veach have is so different than any other head coach and general manager in football. Because Veach wouldn't necessarily be the general manager of the Chiefs had it not been for Andy Reid, because Veach was Andy's guy. And any decision that Veach makes absolutely has to get the A-OK from Big Red before it can come down. So he is the decision maker in the building over everything. Play calling, offensively, defensively, player personnel, practice, whatever it is. And that his responsibility is to take the lion's share of the blame, which is squarely on his shoulders right now for a variety of different reasons.
Someone on the text line, I think, makes a great point. You have to believe until Mahomes gives you a reason not to. I agree with that. That's how I view this team as far as their playoff chances go. I want the Chiefs to prove to me they're not a playoff team. I'm not just going to assume they're not just because they're 5-5. So I kind of feel like a lot of people have kind of gone that route as a way to protect themselves and insulate themselves from the pain. If they do end up missing the playoffs, you just admit, oh, they're not going to make the playoffs now. It's easy to cope with it when, if and when it does happen. So I understand that. I do agree with the texter on that. I still think they're going to make the playoffs until they prove that they don't make the playoffs. So, but I agree with you when we talk about like who to blame the most. Me and Bing talked about this on the Character Concerns podcast last night. Andy deserves most of the blame. And it's not just play calling, which is a massive problem. Yeah. It's also roster construction. Particularly, I think the biggest issue they have, and we've heard about it the last 48 hours now, is with the running game and the running back situation. Look, we all knew going into the draft earlier this year that they had to get a running back. They had to make a significant investment in the draft. It was a really good running back class. There was a lot of really good backs they could have taken that could have helped this team out this year. And instead, they decided they were just going to keep the status quo with what they had. They were going to keep their top 2 backs from last year who weren't really great last year. They were going to bring in a guy who hasn't really had a good year in football since 2021 because he's been hurt the rest of his career. And then you drafted a rookie running back that has only played running back for 1 year in his football career before you drafted him. The hubris of them thinking they could solve that problem with the options that they chose. Like, to me, that was the biggest problem with how they handled it. It was smartest guy in the room the whole time. And then you hear Andy in his press conference yesterday, and, he's asked about the run game and the issues that they have in the run game, and he talks about RPOs and how, well, those – and he is right in the sense that those can be runs. If Mahomes reads it and sees, okay, I should hand it off to whoever the running back is, then it is a run. The problem, though, is that absolutely nobody in this league respects the Chiefs' ability to run the football. And so they give them so much space. They dare the Chiefs to run the football. And the Chiefs absolutely refuse to commit to it in any meaningful way, not only on the field, but off the field when they try to go out and acquire running back talent. And the hubris to think that you could just keep doing the same thing year in, year out. And because you got Patrick Mahomes, you could just out-talent and out-effort people. That's not how football works.
Yeah.
There's not a huge difference between the good and the bad. And the fact that Andy Reid seems to think that he can just out-coach the opposing team without getting talent too, and think he can just keep doing the same thing and it'll keep working because it did work in the past, that, to me, is the hubris I'm talking about with this team. And I just feel like right now, strategically, the Chiefs are at a disadvantage because everyone knows what they're going to do every single game because they keep doing the same thing. And it's just like, if you can't see that what you're doing is not working because it worked in the past, but now everyone's caught on to you, everyone knows what you're doing, then you're setting the team up to fail.
Exactly.
And that's my problem with how Andy Reid's handled this season. The hubris to think that you didn't really try to fix your problems, or you thought you could fix it by going bargain bin instead of making a serious investment, which is what you usually do when you have a problem with this team. That, to me, the hubris to do that was my biggest issue with how Andy has handled this whole situation this year.
Yeah, I was as big an advocate as anybody for the Chiefs, trading for a Breece Hall at the deadline. And I was kind of floored when it was like, hey, it was a third-round pick, and the Chiefs said, the Chiefs offered a fourth.
I get that. My issue was not even the Breece Hall thing. It was you shouldn't have had to get to a point where you're looking to trade for a Breece Hall because you knew a year ago that the running back was a problem, and you didn't make a serious effort to try to get it because you thought you were the smartest guy in the room.
100%. And in hindsight, even if they had made that trade for Breece Hall, it wouldn't matter because you still aren't going to run the football. I mean, I'm not saying Kareem Hunt's a world beater by any means. He's not an all-pro caliber back
30
any
years
longer.
old.
But he had 13 carries for 60 yards on Sunday. He was averaging 4.5 yards a carry, and you just refused to give him the football. You had a 3rd and 2 on that second drive of the football game after you had a 5-yard false start against Noah Gray. You still were in a 3rd and 2 situation, and you went shotgun and threw the ball to your running back rather than just handing it to him from under center. Mahomes throws an errant pass. It goes incomplete. Broncos get the football back, drive down, and score. We'll talk more about this on the other side. 913-586-7965 is our number. Continue to send in those messages. We'll discuss them as we go along here tonight on After Hours. Logan Weber, Chris Unocero, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel's the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live, all in one easy-to-use app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Our biggest deal is back. The tires at cost sale at Telly Tire and Auto Centers. You pay what we pay. No gimmicks, no catch. All in-stock tires from Telly's huge inventory at cost. Plus mounting and balancing by certified tire technicians for only $27.95. The top brands, the lowest possible prices, with a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. There's never been a better time to replace your worn-out tires. These unbeatable savings won't last long. Hurry and reserve your tires today. Take care of your car. Take advantage of our sale. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for junk tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Gates Barbecue's distinctive flavors will make your holiday meals unforgettable. Spice up your holiday table with Gates sauces and seasonings. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates seasonings and top it off with one of the 5 Gates sauces. While watching a game or your favorite holiday movie, sprinkle Gates original seasoning on a bowl of hot buttered popcorn. So good. You can buy Gates at your neighborhood grocer or online at gatesbarbecue.com. Gates Barbecue, still doing it the old-fashioned way. Thanks with love.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 Inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy rinse tonight, and I need it more. My king was the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat in that short smells like a dog park. I'm Downy rinsing tonight.
Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in,
Rinse it out.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 41.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have an easy holiday at Staples. Save on top tech and gaming gifts, shipping supplies and services to get your packages there safely, even custom cards and wrapping paper. Staples. That was easy.
96.5 The Fan is your exclusive home for Chiefs football, with pregame starting 3 hours before kickoff with Josh Briscoe. Then it's the call of the game with Mitch Holtis, Dayton Hughes, and Josh Klingler.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game!
Followed by post-game coverage featuring exclusive one-on-one interviews with Andy Reid and Chiefs players inside the locker room. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I think we should all collectively agree that today is the last day that we talk about this. We after tonight, flush Sunday, we get into the middle of the week, we start looking ahead towards what happens Sunday against the Colts and hope for better results. We'll see what happens. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno Cero. Text line 913-586-7965. We got a lot of messages in the text line already. We'll get to those here in just a little bit. But Chris, we were talking about what is going wrong with this Chiefs team right now. And you used a word at the beginning of the show that I thought is a pretty apt description. You used the word hubris. And you were talking about the play calling in particular before we hit the break. And I think that you're exactly right, because there's something to be said. And we had people in the text line yesterday that were kind of getting on to us about being critical of Andy's play calling, Because
why?
Because, hey, his play calling got us to 3 straight Super Bowls, and we won 3 in 5 years. That's exactly the point.
That's fine.
That's what everybody wants. That's what every team in the NFL has seen as well, is them win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. That's the offense that they have been scouting for, watching film on, and game planning for all season, all off season for the last couple of years. And they have gotten fluent in Chiefs offensive game planning from 2019 to 2024. And so when you come into this season, everybody expects you to do the same things you've been doing because you were so successful at it. And by continuing to try to do those things against an opponent who knows what's coming or has a very good idea of what is coming, it's a recipe for disaster. That's why they're playing the 2 deep shell looks. That's why they're blitzing off the edge with such regularity. That's why they are sitting there, maybe with only 5 or 6 guys in the box, and daring you to run the football. Because everybody and their mother knows you're not going to, even if they open up the floodgates and allow you to.
It's funny. It's like my view on like criticism for Andy and Spags is this. I think if you're one of the people that's talking about fire Andy, fire Spags, you're an idiot. Like, that's just, you're a dumbass. Like, that's just how it is. That hurts your feelings. That hurts your feelings. It is what it is. Grow up. I think we could be perfectly critical of them because, anybody who's like good in management knows you can criticize people without firing them. Like, we don't have to fire people because they mess up at their job. And I view that with coaches, too. Like, I think coaches are redeemable. I think players are redeemable. I think people in general can be redeemable. But that doesn't mean that, we can't call them out for their for any missteps and mistakes that they make. You obviously don't want to be, I got to take out my anger on you so I feel better. If you're that type of person, I think that, that's a problem. And you should probably think about fixing your anger issues because I kind of feel like that's what a lot of fans want. They just want to, take their anger out on a coach or a player. And so, that's where you get those people who are, super defensive because they don't want that. And I'm not saying that we need to fire anybody. I'm not firing Matt Nagy. I'm not firing because Matt Nagy doesn't do anything. I'm not firing anybody. My thing is we have to call them out.
Yeah.
We have to hold them accountable so that they fix the things that they're doing wrong. And right now, Andy and Spags have been so predictable, so conservative with their play calling, played it safe in 2 of their biggest games of the year. You don't have you can't afford to play it safe anymore. You are at 500 at 10 games into the season. You have to start getting some momentum now because if you're going to make a run for a championship, you got to first make it into the tournament and you got to get hot too. And right now you're not in the tournament and you're not hot. So yes, let's call out Andy. Let's call out Spags. Let's hold them accountable so they'll actually fix the things because we know they can do it, but we have to acknowledge that they are not doing those things first before we start going out here and actually worried about how they can fix the problem.
Yeah,
we have to acknowledge we have a problem first.
It's 2 sides of the same coin, right? If things were going extremely well, if the Chiefs were 8-2 right now instead of 5-5, we'd be the first people heaping praise upon Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy and Patrick Mahomes and so on and so forth for the excellent job that they are doing. But that's not what's happening. So for all the praise you receive, you have to receive some criticism in pretty equal measure at times when things are going poorly. And right now, they are going poorly. And so, I'm with you. You mentioned, the fire Matt Nagy. And we've already gotten one of those texts in the text line as well.
What does Matt Nagy do?
Are you trying to cut off a symptom to cure a disease right now? I'm not exactly
even know
sure.
If he's a symptom. What does he do?
Yeah.
What exactly does he call the plays? No. Does he have final say on the game plan? No. What does he do?
No, nothing.
What does he do?
He does the same thing.
Is he the late night pizza getter at the facility when they're doing their late night film sessions? I don't know what Matt Nagy does. He doesn't call plays. He's not the guy who makes the game plan. So what are we gonna? who are we firing?
Yeah,
Like, it's not going to fix the problem.
He's just there to be like a voice on the shoulder of Andy Reid at best.
He's there to pat. He's there to pat Patrick Mahomes on the back.
Yeah,
like, that's what he's there to do. Like he's there to. He's like a caddy in golf. Like if you firing your caddy's not going to fix your game. Like that's just how it is.
No, and there were a ton of people yesterday that were mentioning, as they always do when things aren't going well with the Chiefs offense, it's fire Matt Nagy and bring Eric Bieniemy back, and it's always because Bieniemy held players accountable and those sorts of things.
Y'all wanted him gone.
I mean, yeah,
y'all
did.
Y'all wanted him gone after 21, but now y'all want him back?
Like, do we honestly not think that Matt Nagy and Andy Reid aren't doing that? It's just not working right now. And good, bad, or otherwise, it's going to cause them to hopefully change a little bit. Because if you don't change, it's sort of that adapt or die mentality. And the one thing that I can say that's maybe been different about the Chiefs the last 2 or 3 years is it feels a lot more, you said conservative. I'm with you. It feels as if the Chiefs are playing not to lose rather than playing to win a lot of the time. It feels like the only time they're playing to win is if they are tied or trailing in the fourth quarter of a football game. That is when it has felt like in past years, it's that light switch that turn it on and off whenever they felt like it. And now it's not working anymore. And so you have to make some changes.
The reason why the Chiefs offense was so good in 22, even though they had lost their most explosive player on their offense, is because they completely changed their offense and it was unpredictable. No one thought they were going to be top 5 in 12, 13 personnel usage, and they were playing more power run. Because they had so many of those big personnel groupings, teams had to play in base formation so much because they didn't really know they couldn't defend them if they were going to play nickel or dime. They couldn't do it. Teams know now, we could just play nickel and dime the whole game. We don't have to play base set because they're not going to run the football. We could play conservative coverage because they're not going to run the football. They're not going to make us pay. Like the Chiefs, teams are so cool with the Chiefs just trying to run the football, trying to throw it short. They're perfectly okay with that. And it's just, to me, I find it to be very disrespectful that teams can feel perfectly comfortable just playing deep coverage and allowing the Chiefs to dink and dunk on them. And they know that at some point, Jawan Taylor's going to line up in a way that he's going to get flag call, or he's going to get a holding penalty, or one of these guys is going to make a mistake and it's going to put them in a bad spot and it's going to kill the drive. Like they like the way that they play, they make way too many mistakes on offense, and they're very ineffective in their short game so much for them to be playing as much ball control as they do. Like like if you're going to play as much ball control as the Chiefs do, which right now the only team I think that plays more than them is the Colts, like you should be immaculate in your execution, and they're not like that. And like that, in addition to the lack of inventiveness in the play calling, it's really killing them right now.
And this is a conversation that I know Alex and Bink had this morning on Cody and Gold. Do you think bringing in a different voice, somebody from outside this organization, would maybe change some of those things? I'm not saying that means you fire a Steve Spagnuolo or a Matt Nagy by any means, but does bringing in somebody from outside of the building, somebody who hasn't been associated with this Chiefs team for the better part of a decade, because all these guys have been here the whole time, right? Tobe and Spags and Andy Heck, the offensive line coach. And I know Matt Nagy went and coached the Bears for a few years, but as soon as he was let go from Chicago, he came right back here. All of these guys are products of Andy Reid, and it is seemingly, I think, created somewhat of like an echo chamber inside the building with this coaching staff and this front office of guys who have just been together for so long that they've become a little bit set in their ways. So does bringing in somebody from the outside that isn't associated with the Chiefs, could that be seen as a benefit, do you, like, for this team moving forward? Just somebody who isn't a part of that, coffee club that's going on in the coaches' offices every week.
who do you think the Chiefs could bring in that Andy Reid would listen to?
I legitimately do not know.
Perspective, because like that's the question you need to ask. Not who could they bring in to fix things. It's who could they bring in that Andy would listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andy is a very, very great play caller. One of the best offensive play callers in NFL history. One of the best offensive minds in NFL history. Who is he going to listen to in the league? He's going to be like, oh, man, that dude's spitting over here. Okay, I should listen to that. Like, Andy is a genius. And sometimes geniuses aren't going to listen to someone who doesn't have their level of qualifications. For them to figure this out, Andy's got to be the one to admit to himself that what he's doing with the offense just ain't working anymore. And that he's got to change things up to give this team a better chance to win. Because, like, they have changed their approach the last couple years, playing more ball control, being a lot more conservative with how they move the ball down the field to kind of, give their defense a little bit more time to rest, but also put more pressure on the opposing offense because their strength is defending the pass, even though their pass rush hasn't been great at getting home. Like, their strength is, hey, we're going to force you to have to throw the football to try to keep up with us, and we're going to be super efficient on offense. But, like, they're not doing a good job at the super efficient on offense part, especially when it comes to scoring points. The thing is in order for Andy's got to be the one to admit to himself. He's got to be like, that meme that the guy's pointing at himself in the mirror. That's what Andy's got to do. And he's got to realize I'm the biggest part of the problem here. And I've got to admit when I've made mistakes with roster construction and with play calling. And until he does that, you're going to have the same problems every year because they've had the same problems every year because of how they've addressed or failed to address the many problems they have on their roster.
And I have absolutely no confidence whatsoever that there is anybody in the league that you could bring in that Andy Reid would legitimately listen to without Brett Veach having to like force that person upon him, which we all know Veach is not going to do.
Nobody.
Veach is not going to do that.
Brett answers to Andy.
100%.
Brett ain't forcing nothing. The only person who can force something is Clark, but Clark is very hands-off with his ownership, so I don't think that's going to happen. And here's the thing. Like I said, I don't think they need to bring in another voice. Like, what they need is Andy to admit that what he's doing is not working. Because even in the presser yesterday with the media, he was getting a little defensive about some of the stuff he's doing. And it's just like, look, man, like, you can say that all you want. And, like, technically you're right, but you're not right because what you're doing isn't working.
Yeah. And not that it is a little bit a bit of speculation, I guess you could say. But, sitting there listening to the presser yesterday on Cody and Gold, Alex and I both kind of perked up and looked at each other when Andy was talking about those RPOs and mentioning that, that's a quarterback decision, whether to hand the ball off or pull it and throw it. Sort of felt like he was maybe putting a little bit of the onus on Patrick for why the Chiefs aren't running the football a whole lot, which seemed a little bit unfair at the time. But it was kind of an interesting clip that Andy threw out there in the presser of like, well, we call these RPOs and, it's up to the quarterback to decide.
Maybe just call a run play. Maybe don't give Mahomes the option.
You mean
the
hard runs, as he calls them, the hard runs?
Yeah, maybe just do the traditional run play instead of giving your quarterback the option to throw it.
Let's line it up under center where the Chiefs averaged over 6 yards a carry on Sunday. Just a thought.
Or don't do that because it's predictable and teams expect it. Maybe just call some more traditional runs and maybe get a running back that you trust to run zone run, which you like to do more than you like to do gap run.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll work out better.
Yeah, Brashard Smith had one carry for like 12 yards in the game, but it got called back on a holding, and he never touched the football again.
Maybe figure out what you got with him. I don't know. Maybe it seems to me like, he's probably a better long-term option than Kareem Hunt, who's 30 years old.
I would agree.
Maybe give Brashard a chance to see what he can do.
Yeah.
It's the reason why you've been playing him over Elijah Mitchell.
Yep. 913-586-7965. We'll go to the text line when we come back. Logan Weber alongside Chris Unocero. After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, home of the Victory Effect, our pledge to drive down vehicle pricing for the city we love. Today, I'm here to tell you about an exciting offer for the remainder of the month. While supplies last, Victory is offering 3 ways to save on all remaining 2025 Ram half-tons, the winner of the coveted Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Here's how it works. You get a pick from 3 great offers like $5,000 off and 0% for 72 months on all remaining 2025 Ram 1500s, or $11,000 off and 3.9% for 72 months, or an astonishing $16,000 off with standard financing. Folks, it's no secret, it's been the same for years. The best time to buy a new pickup truck is during the model year-end closeout. Business owners, come see us today and ask about additional year-end savings from Ram exclusively for you. Supplies are dwindling fast, so hurry in and take advantage of this offer. Visit us at Kansas City's only automotive outlet mall, the Legends Auto Plaza, on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, just east of Nebraska Furniture Mart, or online at victorymotorskc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Hello, Crushers. It's your host, DJ Divine, telling you that Candy Crush music season is here. Tasty. Conquer levels to mix your own track and win sweet rewards. Divine. Now let's swipe to the next track. Take it away, Thundercat. Candy Crush music season. Play now. From November 3rd to December 7th, selected players level 36 plus. Terms apply. See in-game. Optional in-game purchases.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber, Chris Uno Cero. Going to our text line, 913-586-7965. I got an 816 here, says, this is what happened in Philly. They had some success, and he started keeping players around when they should have been cut. Later draft positions and players being paid for what they did instead of what they can do. That's when the wheels fell off. I certainly hope that's not the case, but
I don't know, like what players have they kept around too long? Like,
I mean, I'm sure there are some who would argue like Chris Jones's performance over the last 2 years hasn't been at the standard of
but
previous years.
When
but
they signed him,
right.
they signed him, he was playing great, and everybody wanted him back. So it was like
coming off of his best performance of the year so far this year.
Yeah, so I was like my thing is like how many players on this team are guys like Isaiah Pacheco, but like he's on a rookie deal. Like I didn't expect them to cut him.
Right.
I expected them to go get a better option.
The paying players for what they did instead of what they can do, I don't necessarily agree with. But keeping players around, like bringing Juju Smith-Schuster back, which I would argue has been a positive for this Chiefs team, but like letting Derek Nottie walk and then trading back for him, letting Mike Pennell walk and go to Cincinnati and then signing him after he got cut, bringing McCole Hardman back multiple times to do little to nothing for this Chiefs team over the course of his year. So there has been some of that. And again, I think that goes back to this level of familiarity that has begun with the Kansas City Chiefs of like, they're not super willing to go out and get new guys that have been on other NFL teams because they don't know what the culture is like and what the system is like. And that's all well and good. But at a certain point, fresh voices, fresh ideas are going to be beneficial to you. And that's something that I think the Chiefs are struggling with right now is those new ideas because they're not bringing in new guys from other NFL organizations.
I mean, to me, I don't think that to me is not a concern. My issue is there are needs that they have needed to address in the draft, and they're like, hey, let's go get this sexy pick that we really like Jeffrey Bossa is like a prime example. Did they really need to take him? Or could they have taken another running back or taken a nose tackle? Because they needed a nose tackle before the draft. They did draft Omar Norman-Lott, but he's not a nose tackle, he's a three-tech. They still needed to take a nose tackle that they could put on first, second down to defend against the run. They knew they needed that, and then they decided, oh no, let's bring back mid-30s MV Pennell to come out here and play. And then eventually they realized, oh, he's kind of cooked. He's old. He's a little cooked. Oh, let's bring back Derek Nottie, who wasn't good last year, but let's bring him back and let's have him. No, you should have drafted a nose tackle. You should have drafted a nose tackle in 24 because you knew you were going to have some depth issues at that position in the near future. You should have got ahead of it then. I mean, I remember in 2022, they knew they were going to have depth issues at corner, and so you know what they did? They drafted 3 corners that draft. Ended up working out for them pretty well. Like, I thought that they were going to address that. I thought they were going to address running back, and then they decided, hey, let's get one guy in the second round and let's make him play out of position. And then let's go get a running back in the 7th round who's only played the position for 1 year. Like that to me is the big problem they've had. Is like, and this again, it goes back to the whole hubris thing. Yeah. The idea that you could just, we'll just fill in the spots with guys we used to have. That to me is the hubris part that I talk about. Like that, I feel like that is the biggest issue that they've had here is like the idea that they can just keep going bargain bin at important positions and they'll be fine.
Yeah, like we have enough talent that we don't really need to go find new talent. Let's just keep bringing in and recycling the same guys that we've had forever, even if they are past their prime, even if their primes weren't that great to begin with. You know, these guys know what it takes and they know what the system is and they're just going to keep doing what they do, even if they keep doing it incrementally worse year by year. Another 816 asking, did the Chiefs' offensive line or defense perform worse on Sunday? I don't think either one of those units played bad.
Yeah, I don't think they played bad.
Like the Chiefs, Mahomes threw the football 45 times against the best pass rush in the National Football League, and the Broncos only sacked him 3 times. I consider that a win. And the defense was put into horrendous spots multiple times throughout this football game after the Mahomes pick, after the long punt return by Marvin Mims. Both of those times, Broncos had short field numerous times in this football game, and the Chiefs defense continued to boat up, gave up 3 points instead of 7. They did enough to win this football game. I thought the Chiefs defensive line overall had their best performance of the year against one of the best offensive line units in the National Football League. The offensive line and the defense are the least of my complaints when it comes to Sunday's game against the Broncos. A 913 says, what would you think of the Chiefs signing the newly reinstated Odell Beckham? Why?
Man, he's cooked.
Just to have another wide receiver who
they don't need wide receivers.
You're already playing 5 or 6 a game. Like you're playing Tyquan and Worthy and Rashi and Juju. I mean, and
he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good since he was in I was about to say St. Louis, in Los Angeles when he before he tore it. He ain't been the same dude since he tore that ACL in the Super Bowl. Like. Ever since he tore that ACL in the Super Bowl, he was not the same guy after that. When he came back from that injury, like his Miami stint was very forgettable. He's not the same dude.
He's what, 33 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I mean, coming off a year with the Dolphins,
he would be better than
9 catches for 55 yards.
He would be better than Jalen Royals, maybe, if that.
But Jalen Royals never sees the field.
No,
so, like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Why bring that guy back? Yeah,
it'd be like if when they brought in Kelvin Benjamin in 2018. He caught one pass and then didn't do anything the rest of the year.
Sorry.
No, I don't think Beckham's going to do anything.
The Chiefs signing Odell Beckham would be like when they need running back and defensive line help. Would be like the Royals signing another starting pitcher when they need corner outfield help. Like it just doesn't make a ton of sense right now. We'll continue to go through the text line here on the other side of the break. 913-586-7965 is our number. Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero. After Hours on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Imagine this. It's Thanksgiving Day, and instead of juggling pots and pans, you're actually enjoying it. Hy-Vee's got your holiday covered with convenient pre-made meal packs for any size gathering. Fresh, ready-to-heat favorites like juicy turkey, honey glazed ham, or prime rib, plus all the classic sides, rolls, and desserts. And don't forget to swing by the wine and spirits department to make it a feast to remember. Pick up your meal the day before, heat it up, and serve it like you cooked all day. This Thanksgiving, let Hy-Vee do the cooking. You get the credit, only at Hy-Vee.
FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays, from points, rebounds, three-pointers, assists, and so much more. FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat line live, all in an easy-to-use, one-stop shop app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players that you love the way that you want. Head over to FanDuel and use my promo code FanDuel.com/KFNZ to sign up today. FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat line live, all in an easy-to-use, one-stop shop app. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with non-withdrawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit KansasGamblingHelp.com.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
This season, the perfect gift is back, the McRib. Now at McDonald's, you can buy a McRib Extra Value Meal with medium fries and a medium soft drink, like a Dr. Pepper, and add another McRib sandwich for just $1 to give to someone special. Someone special. That could be anyone, right? Like I'm special. Listen to how well I do the jingle. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid for item of equal or lesser value. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up, Inc.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit tremfya.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
We'll get away from talking about the Kansas City Chiefs shortly, I assure you, but the text line's very active right now. 913-586-7965. Logan Weber here alongside Chris Uno-Cero. After hours on your home for Kansas City sports. It's 96.5 The Fan. And I got an 816 here who says something that, Chris, I guess I'll speak from my own personal experience and we'll see what you have to say. But I'll preface it by saying that I disagree. This person says, most of these players play for the second contract and a championship. Most of the better players on this team have both. They're set up for life. They are human. The only people that are freaking out about their job performance is all of us. If Andy keeps taking all the blame and the players all just think, quote, oh, don't worry, we'll figure it out. They're all complacent. They don't have anything to prove. I'll just speak from my own experience. I've been in these locker rooms. I've been in these press conferences. I have talked with these players on and off the record, many of them. These guys play the game of football just like any other person who plays a sport. I shouldn't say any, most others, because they love the game. I mean, listen to Patrick Mahomes in any interview ever. He doesn't just play football because of how much he gets paid. He plays because he loves the game of football. Chris Jones loves the game of football. Travis Kelce's 36 years old and is still getting 12 targets a game. Not because of the money, but because he loves the game of football. So I think it's a little bit unfair. I'm not saying that all 53 guys on the Chiefs roster are like that, but I think it's a little bit unfair to say that these guys only play because they're in it for the money, and because they've already won a championship, they really don't have anything else to play for other than to cash a paycheck.
Well, if that were the case, then most of these players would have lost their motivation after 22 and 23 and then 24. No, I think it's a lazy assessment to say that these guys aren't motivated because they've won and gotten paid. Because most of these guys are not on second contracts. No. Most of these guys are on rookie deals or short-term, or if they are in a second it's a short-term deal with no guaranteed money, and they're hoping that they can have a good year and then get paid by either the Chiefs or somebody else. So I think it's a lazy assessment to just go and say that that's, they don't care anymore. I think a lot of this is the Chiefs just assuming that the recipe is still good and people have figured out what it is. And I think because of that, the Chiefs, they're due for an offensive evolution. They're due for a new game plan, a new style of play calling, because they're right now they're continuing the same thing they've been doing the last 2 years, and it's gotten predictable. And they haven't really seriously invested in trying to improve the run game. And because of that, it's, teams now are just basically daring them to do something that the Chiefs are unwilling to commit to. And so, it is what it is. I don't think that's an issue with talent. I think the issue with the Chiefs right now is a matter of execution, and it's a matter of coaching. And when guys aren't executing, when guys are in their own heads, and when the coach is not putting you in the best position to win because he keeps calling the same things that everyone knows you're going to do, then to me that is probably a more reasonable explanation for what's happening right now.
Another text that I'll read before we get to the break here that I do agree with. 660 says, we can't keep going with the same quote, they got us, that's on me, we've got to clean that up. Pablum, he's been peddling after every loss since he's been here. That's, of course, referencing Andy Reid, which if you've listened to, well, any press conference, and especially yesterday's, that is a phrase he uses over and over again. We've got to clean that up. That's on me. If you made a drinking game out of Andy Reid post-game press conferences or Monday afternoon press conferences where you take a drink after every we've got to clean that up, you would be blacked out by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Your day would be over with. He says it a lot. And I understand, it's coach speak. They're media trained. It's what they do. And what else? What other course of action does he have? Right? He's going to put the blame on somebody else. He may or may not have done something to that effect when talking about the RPOs and mentioning, it's the quarterback's decision whether he wants to pull those or take those, which may have very well have been his slight little nudge to be like, hey, Pat, maybe give a few more of those than trying to pull it out and throw the football. But I don't disagree. The we've got to clean that up and that's on me thing only goes so far. Like at a certain point, it put up or shut up a little bit, right? That, okay, you can take responsibility all you want, and unfortunately, it's what's gotten a lot of coaches fired over the years. How many times did Brian Daboll say after a one-score loss, their 33rd in a row or whatever it was, hey, we've got to be better in those end-of-game situations, and that's entirely on me. It got you fired, Brian. So obviously, eventually you've got to sort of put your money where your mouth is. If it's on you, find a way to fix it. And if it's not on you, then you got to come up with a different way to phrase this, because saying the same thing over and over again is not giving anybody any level of confidence.
My thing is this. It is not so much that. It's just like you say that, but then you keep doing the same thing. Like, that's my issue with it. It's like, yeah, we got to clean that up. I got to be better. Okay, then be better. Like, he says that all the time. I got to be better. Okay, well, be better. Like, do something better. Because you keep saying that, and then you get to a point where you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I got to be better. Okay, well, I'm still going to call this same RPO on first down. I'm still going to call this same sequence of plays when we really need to get this drive going to get some points here so we can take control of this game or take a lead in this game or whatever. Like, there's just so many things that we can point to that they're really inefficient at. And I'm just like, when are you actually going to do something about it? You say you need to do it, but then you don't do it. And it's like, we know you can do it. We know you have the capacity to do it. You're one of the best play callers in NFL history. My thing with him is that I need to see the action. Like, I know this is a man that is first in, last out. Okay, show us the fruits of that labor. We know he's probably at the facility right now, working, watching film, coming up with plays, coming up with the game plan. Okay, hopefully it's not the same game plan you've done the last 2 games. Because if it is, then I don't want to hear you talk about I got to clean that, I got to fix that, I got to be better.
913-586-7965. We may continue this conversation on the other side of the break. We'll get to some college basketball news also coming up in hour number 2. Duke and KU at the State Farm Champions Classic set to tip off in just about an hour from now. Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero after hours on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. And now it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use, and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code 965. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun. I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
If ringing in the holidays includes cheers and libations, Gomer's has your back. Voted #1 Casey Liquor Shop, they offer a wide variety of beer, wine, and spirits at great prices. Stop by one of their 5 locations. You'll be glad you did.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes content at The Fan 965, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Some big-time college basketball being played tonight across the country, including a game that involves the 24th ranked Kansas Jayhawks. I will say, not sure you should be super confident if you're a Kansas fan tonight, as they take on the 5th ranked Duke Blue Devils without their top player in Darren Peterson. After hours here on 96.5, The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero. That game at Madison Square Garden set to tip off at 8 o'clock tonight. Jayhawks without Darren Peterson. Duke so far this year has looked really impressive, especially their top player, Cameron Boozer, who is one of a handful of guys alongside Darren Peterson and the Debansa kid from BYU among that group of guys being thrown into discussions for the number one overall pick. So far this year, Boozer's averaging 22 and 10 while averaging over 4 assists a game. Somebody in the text line was asking me earlier, with Duke being a 10.5 point favorite, how do I feel about Kansas being able to cover in this basketball game? I don't feel great about it. I think that this game is going to come down a lot to, can Kansas knock down jump shots? And how does that match up between what is likely going to be Cameron Boozer one-on-one against Flory Badunga going to go? I really like who Flory Badunga can be. I love the potential of him as a player. I said it on the show a couple of weeks ago before the season started that I believed Flory Badunga could have a Joel Embiid sort of a breakout from his freshman year into his sophomore year and play himself into a position to be a possible lottery pick. And so far, that's kind of what's happened. He hasn't developed any sort of a jump shot yet at this point in his career, specifically a three-pointer. But after he averaged 6 and 5 last year at Kansas, through 4 games this year, the guy's averaging 17 points a game, nearly 8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a night. If Flory Badunga can make life difficult for Cameron Boozer on the low block, because this is by far going to be the most difficult front court matchup for the 18-year-old that he's faced so far in his career with the Blue Devils, KU's got a shot to stay in this game. Do I think it's going to be enough to keep it at under 10.5? I would lean towards yes. But again, that's a really big if. Like, if you really believe that Flory Badunga has got it in him to hold Cameron Boozer to 17 points on 5 of 15 shooting, then yeah, I think the Jayhawks got a shot to keep this one close. I don't think it's going to be enough to win the basketball game, but I have been wrong before. I'm really kind of a fan of what this Jayhawks team can be. I like the front court, back court duo that Peterson and Badunga can become as the season goes on. I think you just have to get more shooting from guys that aren't Bryson Tiller or Darren Peterson. Can Cole Rosario knock down jump shots and three-pointers at a more consistent clip? Can he get closer to like 40%? Can Trey White become a 35 or a 36% three-point shooter versus the 30% that he's sitting at? Jaden Dawson, these guys, you got to be able to knock down jump shots. This has been the kryptonite for the Kansas Jayhawks for the last 2 or 3 years, I would argue, is they're incredibly athletic. They defend pretty well. They can score at the cup. But when it comes to 17 to 24 feet, they lack consistency with their ability to keep teams honest from the perimeter. Kansas, if you can rein that in and be a little bit better with that tonight, I think that you can keep it close. Not sure it's going to be enough to take down this Duke team, which has really proven itself to be a national title contender already this season. Meanwhile, there is a game going on right now in that State Farm Champions Classic, Michigan State and Kentucky. And boy, I tell you, Spartans made a statement in the first half, going up 17 at the break. They have gotten scoring from a variety of different places. They've got 3 guys in double figures, including Jackson Kohler and Trey Fort as their starters. Kerr Tang off the bench has 13 points of his own in 13 minutes. Right now, the Spartans lead it 60-50, so Kentucky's chipping away at it. They took that 17-point deficit at halftime and dropped it down to 10. We'll see what happens from there. One team playing right now that I think is a much better team than 18th in the country so far this year is the North Carolina Tar Heels. This North Carolina team beat Kansas by double figures earlier this year, if you'll remember. And right now they are only up 7 on Navy at the moment. It's going to be an interesting year of college basketball all around. And, I look at the only other game that's happening that's live right now is an early start to the game. Winthrop against 21st ranked Arkansas. Calipari's team struggling so far. They're actually down 2 to Winthrop 11-9. So, I mean, at minus 10.5, it's going to depend on what Flory Badunga can do. But without Darren Peterson, not super confident that KU is going to be able to keep it at minus 10.5. I keep going back and forth on that. Not sure what to think. Somebody in the text line says, unfortunately, this came from Lance. It's going to be 97-77 Duke wins. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised by that. I mean, it comes from a variety of places. They're obviously the head of the snake is Cameron Boozer, but Patrick Namba II and Dame Sarr, who is Alexander Sarr's younger brother, Isaiah Evans, those three guys can fill it up at different points. Caleb Foster's another one, scores around 9 points a game. Interesting year for the Kansas Jayhawks. It's been kind of an up and down start to this season. Hopefully they get Darren Peterson back sooner rather than later with that hamstring issue and that it's not long term. We'll have to wait and see. Kansas State right now, they are undefeated. Wildcats are 4-0, but it hasn't been overly pretty for them so far this year. They dominated a bad UNC Greensboro team, beat them by 29. They beat Bellarmine by 27. They narrowly beat Cal last week, 99-96. And last night, taking on the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa, they win by 1, 84-83. Jayhawks come out on top, led by 31 points from PJ Haggerty, filling it up from the field, 10 of 17. He was also 11 of 12 from the free throw line, brought down 10 rebounds in the game as well. But other than him, Kamari McGriff finished in double figures with 13, but he only put up 6 shots. I kind of expected him to be a little bit more aggressive with the way that he was scoring the basketball. I know he's not much of a three-point shooter, but I really expected more than 6 field goal attempts from him. He did a good job of getting to the stripe, though, 5 of 6. Abdai Bashir, the junior, he also finished in double figures, but it was an inefficient 10 points, 4 of 12, 2 of 6 from behind the arc. Jayhawks were Wildcats, 5 of 24 at the three-point line. That's never going to get, against Tulsa, it was just enough. But when you get into Big 12 play, you are going to have to shoot better than that if you want to win with any kind of consistency. And I'm not trying to dog Tulsa because they were undefeated coming in. But right now, I'm complaining about their offensive performance and the lack of three-point shooting. K-State's biggest problem right now is they lack aggressiveness on defense. The two, I would argue, mid-major or better opponents, because UNC Greensboro and Bellarmine, people can discuss them being a mid-major. They're more of a low-major, But between Cal and Tulsa, you have given up an excessive number of points. 179 points you've allowed in 2 games against decent opponents. And you gave up 71 to Bellarmine. The defense is going to be a huge problem for K-State if they don't get it figured out in a hurry. Meanwhile, the Missouri Tigers were also in play last night, and they got a comfortable, I won't say an impressive, but a comfortable 91-73 win over Prairie View A&M. Beating a team like Prairie View by only 18 points is not pretty by any means, but hey, man, W's are W's, right? Their leading scorer was actually Jacob Cruz off the bench, pouring in 24 points on the night, 7 of 10 from the floor. He knocked down 4 of his 5 3-pointers. Meanwhile, the rest of this Mizzou team was a combined 6 of 18 from the 3-point line. Anthony Robinson struggled. He had 13 points, but shot less than 50% from the floor. Sean Phillips, 12 points at right at 50%. Javon Porter shot less than 50. Mizzou barely shot the ball over 50% from the floor. And a huge chunk of that came from their bench. Cruz shooting 7 of 10. Jaden Stone was 5 of 8. T.O. Barrett off the bench was 2 for 2 from the floor. And even Luke Northweather scored 4 points on 1 of 2 shooting. Win's a win. Tigers are 5-0, but, they haven't, other than the Minnesota game, I would argue, have a truly impressive win. You beat VMI, a really, really bad VMI team, let's all face it, by 38. That is somewhat of an impressive win. Beat them 106-68. You beat Minnesota by 23. That's a really good win against a high major opponent, and you blew them out. But you also only beat SEMO by 5. Similar conversation that we had about K-State kind of applies to Mizzou a little bit. You've got to be able to defend. You had your 2 best defensive games against VMI and Minnesota, and those are your 2 most impressive wins. Your defense wasn't great last night against Prairie View. They scored 73 on you. But the bench scoring really, really helped you out. And against, SEMO. You gave up 84 to SEMO. Mind you, Southeast Missouri State so far is 1-3 this year. SLU beat them by 25. St. Thomas of Minnesota beat them by 12. Their only win is against Webster, who they beat 87-41. Got to get things figured out on the defensive side of the basketball if you're Dennis Gates and company, because you have an extremely talented roster top to bottom. I would argue as talented recruiting-wise as any team in the country. But giving up 84 points to SEMO is an interesting way of showing it. 913-586-7965 is our number. Much more coming up here on After Hours, including a Week 11 recap of the National Football League. Logan Weber alongside Chris Unocero. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Thank you, KC, for voting Century Roofing the best roofing company in the Metro in the Stars 2025 KC Favorites competition. After 35 years, we're giving back to you by extending our free material upgrade sale through the end of the year. Get a free upgrade to impact-resistant shingles with any roof replacement for better protection and possible insurance savings. Trust the best, Century Roofing. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com for your free estimate today.
Hey, Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Century Roofing, we've got you covered, KC.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy rinse tonight, and I need it more. My kick was the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat in that short smells like a dog park. Downy rinse it tonight.
Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in.
Rinse it out.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
It's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Ever wonder what your home is really worth? Find out in seconds with a true market expert. Just Google Sharp Homes Team, and on their website, click on the button that says, "How much is your home really worth?" The Sharp Homes Team can give you options, including their instant offer program. Skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold. And if you're buying or selling, reach out to the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes Team, brokered by Epic Realty. So don't wait. Google Sharp Homes Team today.
Hey, folks. I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
I'm still struggling to come to grips with that sweeper. The ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens. Something tells me that man wrote that script. Gotta be something Dusty. Dusty definitely voluntarily wrote that script just so that he could throw that in there. After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno Cerro, and a bit of an old friend alert. This happened yesterday. Started out yesterday morning. There was a message, or maybe it was Sunday afternoon. I can't remember which it was. Former Chief Kalen Saunders came out on social media.
Colin
Saunders. Apologize.
Yeah, he wants people to know, not to say
That's my fault. That's my fault. I knew that, and I was going back and forth in my own head about which one it was.
Yeah,
and of course I picked
his
wrong.
Twitter handle is Colin, not Kalen.
I knew it. Said, quote, "Sorry, y'all, I tried. If only the fans were the front office. Maybe one day, though, who knows?" Seemingly hinting at he tried to reunite in Kansas City after he was let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it sounds as if the Chiefs said no. So where does the former two-time Super Bowl champion defensive tackle land? The New York Jets. Yikes. I don't think that's the most ideal situation for him. And maybe an opportunity for him to come in right away and play.
It's a job.
I would say.
It's a job. So I'm sure he's like, hey, it is what it is. They're paying me, so I'm sure he's happy to get paid. So
he's been around the league for quite a long time. He was signed by the Chiefs in 2019, played with the team up through the 2022 season. He then played for a couple of years with the New Orleans Saints. This past year, he's been playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He only appeared in 2 games, registered only 3 combined tackles. For his career, he's got 6.5 sacks and 184 combined tackles. Now goes to the New York Jets. But, you know, it is a little bit interesting for him to go to social media and be like, hey, you know, I tried to come back to Kansas City and they said no. I'm not really sure whether I see that as a positive or a negative for this Chiefs team. Because, I mean, really, if we're being honest with ourselves, Colin Saunders was one of those fan favorites that everybody in Chiefs Kingdom really loved in terms of his personality, in terms of his effort, and those sorts of things. But was he really going to move the needle at all? Like, was he going to be talented enough to take snaps away from a Mike Pennell or a Derek Nottie or a Jerry Tillery at this point in the year? I don't think so. I mean, the depth you need, I don't think was going to be coming from somebody like a Colin Saunders. It needs to come from somebody else, somebody that has never probably been associated with this organization in any way. And it goes right back to the conversation that we've been having for the first hour of this show, Chris, and that is that there's not really a willingness to do that right now if you're the Kansas City Chiefs.
It should have been a nose tackle that they drafted this year in addition to Omar Norman Lott.
Yep.
That's what it should have been. Like, this is the issue that they've had, is that they've needed to draft a couple of defensive tackles, a 3-tech and a nose tackle. They took care of the 3-tech this year, even though they tried to make him a nose tackle, and he ended up having weight issues and injury problems, and he didn't look the same. Looked like he had the same explosiveness that he had when he was at Tennessee. And so I think you misused a guy who was really talented, and then he gets a freak injury and the season's done. But you probably should have still drafted a real nose tackle so you didn't have to go and try to go see if you can get MV Pennell from the Bengals roster. Trade for Derek Nottie from the Jets because you didn't feel comfortable with your nose tackle situation to start the year. Like, maybe you should do what you do with a lot of other positions and you fix it through the draft. And for some reason, the Chiefs have been really afraid to go out there and kind of load up on that position, and it's a position of need even now. Even if Omar Norman Lott comes back next year and plays well, you still need another defensive tackle in this draft class because you need depth, and not only as for pass rush, but also for run defense too.
Is it just me, or is there something strange in the fact that there are so many teams across the National Football League, contending teams, I would add, teams that are fringe playoff teams, that are all just sort of sitting on their hands right now while a player like Christian Wilkins is a free agent? Do you find that strange at all? I know he had the freak injury, and I know that there was the reported locker room and off-field stuff with Christian Wilkins, but does it surprise you at all that nobody, and I mean nobody, has seemingly been willing to, in the public eye, take a flyer out on somebody like Christian Wilkins who, yes, I know the injury history is there, but has been one of the better interior defensive linemen in the league since he arrived in 2019?
I think that I'm not surprised. And the reason why is because when you got a player that's kind of a liability with, because he doesn't really want to listen to your medical advice, he kind of is like, hey, I want to do my own thing. That's something that I think would scare the hell out of every general manager. Hey, you need surgery. No, I don't want surgery. I just want to rehab and come back. Like, if you got a player that's doing that and it gets so bad that they have to be cut, and then now you're disputing over guaranteed money because you're like, hey, we got rid of him for good reason, for cause. He violated the terms of the contract. Like, when that's happening, I mean, if I'm one of these other, especially because, like, how confident would you be that he'd come back and be healthy?
Yeah, fair.
Because if he was healthy, he would still be playing for the Raiders right now. So that's the thing you have to ask. Is he ever gonna be healthy if he's not gonna get surgery? If he's refusing to go out there and do what your doctors have said he needs to do? Oh yeah. If I was a general manager, I would not touch him unless he's getting surgery. So
yeah. I mean, and I said a few weeks ago, prior to the trade deadline, like, yeah, if I'm the Chiefs, why not sign Christian Wilkins to a vet minimum deal and then turn around and play, trade for somebody like a
pass
Calais.
A physical.
Yeah, fair. And then trade for a guy like a Calais Campbell. But, yeah, is he going to be able to play this year? Probably not. I don't know.
I mean, if you're a general manager, you have to be thinking, can this dude even pass a physical? Because if he can't pass a physical, he can't play anyways. Because you're not going to put him out there liability-wise. Like, so I think there's a good reason why everybody says we're good on him.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it that often with someone with that much talent, someone with the reputation that he had when he was in Miami, to all of a sudden he's gone, he gets cut in the middle of his big second contract, and then you just don't hear anything about him. Like,
just nobody willing to touch him. With
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when teams are not trying to sign a player, when everyone is saying we don't want that guy, that tells me all I need to know.
Yeah. 913-586-7965. Somebody says bring in Desmond Watson. He'll clog the middle. The big man from Florida. It'd be entertaining. I don't think it solves anything, but it'd be fun to watch.
No.
After hours here on 96.5, The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select pairs of wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey y'all, it's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. Spent a lot of time pitching heat. Years later, the pain in my joints remind me of those days, but I'm not looking to sit still, and I definitely am not interested in going under the knife. That's why I chose QC Kinetics.
Not just for elite retired athletes. QC Kinetics gives everyday folks joint pain relief using regenerative treatments that work with your body to help repair joint damage.
No surgery, no long recovery, whether it's your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. My friends at QC Kinetics will help you get moving again so you can get back to doing the things you love.
QC Kinetics medical professionals will look at your x-rays or MRI to determine if you're a good candidate.
I trusted QC Kinetics to help me feel like myself again, and I'm proud to recommend them to you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I woke up this morning feeling like I was coming down with something. Cough, congestion, headache. My first thought was, nope, this can't happen. I have big plans this weekend. So I took Mucinex Kickstart. It provides all-in-one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation. Thanks to Mucinex Kickstart, I didn't even need to cancel my weekend plans. If you start feeling cough and congestion coming on, take Mucinex Kickstart for relief with a kick. At your favorite retailer. Use as directed.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000. Or in Mississippi.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off. Because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. Yeah. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero. 913-586-7965 is our number for the text line. We've got some Kansas City Royals news. The Rule 5 draft in Major League Baseball is quickly approaching, and with that in mind, Royals made a couple of moves today. Namely, by throwing a pair of right-handed pitchers onto the 40-man roster. For those who are unaware, the Rule 5 draft in Major League Baseball allows for other Major League teams to draft players that are currently inside Major League Baseball organizations, but not on the 40-man roster. The stipulation with that is that those players have to stay in Major League Baseball. Otherwise, they go back to their original teams. There's usually not a ton of traffic that happens in Rule 5 drafts, but sometimes guys will take flyers on somebody that they believe could be beneficial to their team, maybe that year or maybe in years moving forward. And the Royals decided not to test their luck by adding Ben Caderna and Steven Zobach to the 40-man roster. So the Royals now have 39 guys on that 40-man. Caderna is a 22-year-old. He was drafted back in 2021. Of course, Blue Valley Southwest kid from right here in the Metro on the Kansas side. He has pitched between AA and AAA in the last year. Zobach made 14 starts in 2025. 11 of them were in AA, but he dealt with quite a few injuries throughout the year. Caderna was a Futures game representative for the Royals back in, I believe, 2024. And the Royals decided they did not want to roll the dice on either one of those guys being picked up. They're considered two of, if not the two best pitching prospects that the Royals have. Caderna, according to like MLB.com and their prospect map, have him potentially making his Major League debut this year or even early next year in 2026. So with that in mind, a couple of guys that the Royals did not put on the 40-man roster and are on the block right now to be picked up in the Rule 5 draft are former first-round pick Frank Mazzucato, as well as first-round pick in 2022 Gavin Cross. Pair of guys that the Royals used their first-round selections on in back-to-back years. Mazzucato's 22 years old. Remember, he was the seventh overall pick, 4 years ago, but has not made it higher than AA so far in his career and had an ERA over 5 this past year. He wasn't just pitching in AA too. He pitched quite a bit in high A as well. 93 innings between the two levels this past year to a 5.03 ERA. And Gavin Cross is in a very similar boat because his numbers have not been super impressive to this point in his career. He's 24 years old. He'll turn 25 in February and has still never made it above AA. This past year with Northwest Arkansas, he hit 241 with a 291 on base percentage, 17 home runs and 64 ribbies in 114 games. His OPS was a 703 in AA this last year. All of those numbers, I will add, aside from his home runs and his RBIs, are actually down from 2024. And I would say a big part of why his homers and his ribbies were down year over year is because he played in 13 less games in AA last year than he did this year. So those two guys are up for grabs if a Major League team wants to nab them in the Rule 5 draft. It's going to be interesting to see if somebody does. Because, like I said, with the Rule 5 draft rules, if a player is selected, they have to remain on the team's roster. And if not, they go back to their original team.
Yeah, they got to stay on the major league roster for the entire season.
Yep.
Yeah, otherwise they jump back. You don't see a whole lot of Rule 5s out there.
No.
I mean, I think the first one I remember was Joaquin Soria. The Chiefs, well, not the Chiefs, the Royals. What is that? 09? I think they went, like 09 or 10, they went and grabbed him from, I think it was Arizona. So yeah, that was, and then was Cole Reagan? No, Cole Reagan's was a trade. There was
Correct.
somebody here recently they grabbed, I think in Rule 5. Can't remember, but I think they did demote him and he went back. Pitcher, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, you don't see a whole lot of Rule 5s because teams are usually pretty good at keeping those guys stashed on their 40-mans if they think they're good enough to play in the major leagues at some point that year. So, yeah, I don't think Cross or who was the other one? Mazzucata. I don't think either of those guys were there. But yeah, Kudrna was definitely someone you wanted to keep on your 40-man because he's a guy that has been one of your top 5 players in your on your prospects list for a while. So yeah, you definitely want to protect him, and you absolutely want to make sure that you're keeping your best prospects available for you to bring up at some point during the year if you need them.
Yeah, in recent years, players that have either been picked up by the Royals or picked up from the Royals have been, like last year, Noah Murdoch was picked up by the A's from the Royals, but went back to the Royals by May 12th. Like, that's how it took a month.
Yeah.
And the A's were like, nah, we're good. And Noah Murdoch is currently a free agent. Like 27 years old. He is not on a major league team right now. He elected to go into free agency 2 weeks ago. So that obviously didn't hurt the Royals all that much. Going back to earlier years as well.
It's just there's not a whole lot
Matt
of guys.
Sauer. That's who you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Matt
that's what it
Sauer.
was.
The
Yeah.
Royals picked him up from the Yankees, and he ended up going back to the Yankees
Right.
on May 26th.
Yeah, they realized very quickly, yeah, he's not it.
Yeah, there's typically, I mean, I would say at most you'll see like 15 to 20 guys maybe going
top
back
end.
and forth.
Yeah, most teams will not go out and take someone in the Rule 5. It's just a lot of those guys, like it's really hard for them to ascend because most of those guys are going to be like AA at the high end and lower. So, at the most of the time when you do see those guys get in, they're like relief pitchers. It's like, okay, this guy's kind of been sitting around in the minors for a while, thought they were going to be a starter. Okay, let's see if we can turn him into a relief pitcher and let's bring him in that way. But hitters you don't see go Rule 5 that often, and you don't see a lot of guys go Rule 5 and then they end up in the rotation. Most of the time it's relief pitchers.
So somebody in the text line mentioned this, and I'm seeing it here. Back in 2017, the Cincinnati Reds picked up Brad Keller from the Arizona Diamondbacks, acquired him via the Rule 5 draft, and then he was later traded to the Kansas City Royals. It's kind of an interesting one there. Keller's still bouncing around. He was a reliever for the Cubbies this last year. Also in that draft, the Orioles selected the contract of Nestor Cortez in the Rule 5 draft and then made the opening day roster for the Orioles, and by April 13th was back with the Yankees and eventually became, an all-star at a point in his career. There aren't a ton of, massive names on these lists.
No, because almost all of the top players in any team's farm system, they're going to keep on the 40-man when it gets to the point where you're about to have the Rule 5 draft. So.
I mean, yeah, Nestor Cortez, Anthony Santander was actually in the Indians organization at that time. They were still the Cleveland Indians, and the Orioles drafted him. He became an all-star and then signed that massive deal with the Blue Jays and fell off a cliff. Adubel Herrera. Yeah, there are really no names on this Rule 5.
I said, the most notable one I remember for the Royals was Joaquin Soria, because that was the first time I had ever heard of the Rule 5 draft ever. And then Soria came in and he was awesome for the team. So you just don't hear about it that often.
No, never. 913-586-7965 is our number. The Royals also handed out team awards yesterday. And surprise to absolutely no one, the Les Milgram Player of the Year award for the Royals went to Bobby Witt Jr. Fourth time he's won the award. All 4 years that he's been a part of the Royals organization, he is the best player on the team. That shouldn't shock anyone. Noah Cameron was named as the Bruce Rice Pitcher of the Year, and Maikel Garcia won the Joe Burke Special Achievement Award given to an unsung player who contributed beyond what was expected. Yeah, the guy wasn't on the opening day roster as the starting third baseman and wound up an all-star and a Gold Glover at that position and was a finalist for the Silver Slugger. That's the kind of year Maikel Garcia ended up in. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero. We'll get into the Week 11 NFL recap coming up next here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Deldon, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Play Kansas Lottery's holiday scratch tickets for a chance to win up to $100,000 instantly. Enter tickets into Play On for a chance to win bonus drawings. See KSLottery.com.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Hello, Crushers. It's your host, DJ Divine, telling you that Candy Crush music season is here. Tasty. Conquer levels to mix your own track and win sweet rewards. Divine. Now let's swipe to the next track. Take it away, Thundercat. Candy Crush music season. Play now. From November 3rd to December 7th, selected players level 36+. Terms apply. See in-game. Optional in-game purchases.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
We'll get into some more NFL conversation coming up in about 10 minutes. It will not include talk of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think we all need a break from that, a well-deserved one for the rest of the night tonight. And maybe tomorrow we can start to look ahead towards this Colts game on Sunday, a huge one at Arrowhead Stadium, a noon kickoff. But one more bit of Major League Baseball news before we get to that is qualifying offer season has officially come and gone. There were 13 players in Major League Baseball that were extended that $22.05 million qualifying offer from their respective MLB teams. Of the 13, only 3 accepted it. One of those was Trent Grisham, a outfielder for the New York Yankees, infielder Gleyber Torres, a former Yankee who's now with the Detroit Tigers, Brandon Woodruff of the Milwaukee Brewers, and Shota Imanaga of the Chicago Cubs. So all 4 of those guys accepted that offer. They're going to be back next year with their teams, making $22.025 million. That means 9 guys declined it. Those 9 include Kyle Schwarber, DH for the Phillies. No surprise there. He is going to be a hot commodity on the free agent market. I mean, the numbers that this guy puts up at the dish are rivaled by very few across Major League Baseball. I mean, he is a consistent 40 home run, 100 RBI guy. He's done that in 2 of the last 4 years. And the only years he didn't, he had 46 home runs in 2022, but he only had 94 ribbies. And then in 2024, 104 RBIs, but only 38 home runs. This past year, with the Philadelphia Phillies, 56 home runs and 132 RBIs. Both of those led the National League. His 56 home runs led the National League, but were behind only, of course, Cal Raleigh in terms of the MLB total. So he is going to get a hell of a lot more than that $22.025 million. The Philadelphia Phillies, Ranger Suarez declined his after another remarkable year for him. Guy who finished as a Cy Young finalist, but somehow wasn't an All-Star, which makes no sense whatsoever. Kyle Tucker of the Chicago Cubs, another one that shouldn't surprise people. Framber Valdez of the Houston Astros, that one I am a little bit surprised by. I'm not saying that his value is less than $22 million, but it can't be much more than that, is where I'm at with Valdez. Bo Bichette, of course, of the Toronto Blue Jays, after an excellent regular season, paired with a phenomenal postseason run, is going to earn a ton of money on the open market. Dylan Cease and Michael King of the San Diego Padres. Cease I get, King I'm a little bit more confused by. Edwin Diaz of the New York Mets declined his qualifying offer as well. For me, I see him a little bit more like Valdez and King, obviously. I don't think Edwin Diaz is going to get more than $22 million a year to be a closer. But I think he's probably looking more towards a long-term deal, a guy who's got some injury history in his past, where if you turn down $22 million on a one-year qualifying offer and instead you get 4 for $70, I think that's a better long-term deal for Edwin Diaz. And Zach Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks also turned down his contract. So it's very much a split bag. 2 pitchers, an infielder and an outfielder accepting their qualifying offers, a handful of pitchers, a DH, and an outfielder declining their player options, the qualifying offers. 14 out of only 144 players have accepted the qualifying offer since it began in 2012. It's now 18 out of 157. So the hit rate on qualifying offers is not extraordinarily high. What the qualifying offer does for major league teams is if you offer a player the QO and he turns it down, as 9 players in Major League Baseball have done, if that player signs with another major league team, they get draft compensation back. So the Phillies offer Schwarber the qualifying offer. He says no. He goes and signs an 8-year, $190 million deal with the Mets, for example. That means that the Phillies will get back, a first round, second round, third round compensatory pick to try to recoup some of the value that they lost in Schwarber signing elsewhere. That's the biggest thing behind it. I don't think these major league teams really care one way or another if a lot of these guys sign back. It's a matter of trying to hedge their bets and knowing that they are getting something of value back no matter what. Probably think that they would rather have the player back in some of these situations because you know how talented the player is at this point if you're offering them the QO versus a draft pick, which could be real boom or bust at that point. 913-586-7965 is our number. Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno. Sarah, I've got a message in the text line. I might answer that one when we come back. We'll also recap Week 11 in the National Football League here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 913-890-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
It's Thanksgiving time, and that means it's Smokehouse Barbecue time as well. I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday, and I always get my turkeys at Smokehouse Barbecue. We're talking 12 to 15-pound birds that they're going to smoke to perfection for you that you're going to pick up the day before Thanksgiving. Pop it in the oven on Thanksgiving morning, and that smoked turkey from Smokehouse Barbecue will be the star of the show. They're $89.95, and it's the best money you're ever going to spend. Order your turkeys now from Smokehouse Barbecue at SmokehouseBBQ.com.
Century Roofing has done it again. Voted Best Roofing Company in Johnson County for the 4th year in a row. If you didn't get your roof inspected after last year's hailstorms and your neighbors are getting new roofs, you might have damage too. Don't wait. Book your free inspection today and take advantage of our free material upgrade sale. This can mean big savings on your insurance premium. Trust the pillars of strength with female-owned Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Distracted driving is dangerous and contributes to 8% of traffic fatalities and over 3,500 lives lost each year in Missouri. The Siddons-Benning hands-free law prohibits the use of electronic devices while operating a vehicle. So put the phone away or give it to a passenger and stay focused on getting to your destination safely. Drive safe, drive smart, drive hands-free. This ad is brought to you by Missouri Partners in Prevention, paid for with federal highway safety funding from the Missouri Department of Transportation.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Chiefs, Colts, Sunday with kickoff at noon right here on 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. Your Odyssey Sports Station.
Trust me, we all know what happened in Denver Sunday afternoon between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. It's seemingly all we've been talking about for the last couple of days here in the Metro and on this station here at 96.5 The Fan. But I want to talk about Week 11 in the NFL as a whole, outside of it, Kansas City and Denver, and what it could mean for the rest of the year moving forward. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno-Cero. Third and final hour of our program here on this Tuesday night. But before we get to the NFL, I had a message in the text line towards the end of that last hour from Raj in the Ozarks, who asked, Logan, what are the Royals going to do with right field and DH next year? And I have an idea. I mean, right field seems like a pretty cut and dry answer. It's going to be Jack Caglione. He's going to be their right fielder. I mean, there's nowhere else on the field for him to play with regularity. And I think that's because of the opportunities that they have at DH that makes life a little bit more difficult on finding ways to get Jack Caglione in the batter's box. You drafted him. You started working him out in right field. He had some minor league opportunities, and then you bumped him up to the big leagues, and it didn't all work. So he's going to have the full offseason this year. He's going to have spring training. He's going to be the guy in right field, in my opinion. Is it going to be every day? Maybe not. You know, if you bring back a Mike Yastrzemski or an Adam Frazier or both, you know, there's going to be days where he sits or days where he may DH. But I don't think there's an opportunity for him to become the everyday designated hitter for the Royals because of Carter Jensen and Salvador Perez and the catcher position in Kansas City. I think in a perfect world, if Carter Jensen can continue to play good baseball, he comes into spring training, he continues to wow the way that he wowed in the minor leagues last year, and when he got to the bigs with the Royals, sooner rather than later, I believe Carter Jensen is going to become the everyday guy behind the dish for the Royals. Or at least the majority of the day's guy behind the dish for the Royals, right? Where if the Royals play 6 games a week, Carter Jensen's catching 4 or 5, and Salvi catches 1 game, maybe 2 games. Which means, okay, if Jensen's catching every day, where does Salvi go in this lineup? Naturally, Salvador Perez becomes your designated hitter, which I think is the best case scenario for the Kansas City Royals. It allows for him to focus solely on what goes on at the dish rather than what's going on behind it and continue to hit the baseball, right? Should we expect Salvi to continue to be a 260, 270 hitter at this point in his career? No, probably not. But if he can continue to be a 20 to 25 home run guy, drive in 70, 80, 90 runs and hit 230, 240, at this point in his career, I think you're somewhat okay with that if you're the Kansas City Royals. I think Salvi can be better than that, obviously, especially if he just has to worry about being the designated hitter for the Kansas City Royals. So that's what I anticipate happening. Kaggs is the starter in right, and sooner rather than later, Salvi becomes the DH. Or if there's a day where Vinny needs, a little bit of a respite from the field, then Salvi plays first and Vinny's the DH, what have you. That's just what I anticipate happening. My biggest question for the Royals is left field, as it is for everybody. And it sounds like some of those questions may end up being answered. MLB.com reporting that there is a noticeable trade market for Chris Bubic right now, which I am not against. We have talked a lot. I know Alex and I talked last week on Cody and Gold about possibly trading Noah Cameron, that he may have the highest value of any player on the Royals staff, just because of the injury history for guys like Chris Bubic and Cole Reagans. The age concerns for Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha, plus the big contracts that those two are on. You think about Bergert was all right, and Kolick, there could be something there, but those guys haven't really fully proven it to the way that the other guys I just mentioned have. If you can trade Chris Bubic, who is on the last year of his team control, he's on the last year of arbitration coming up this year, and then he can become a free agent, fresh off his first All-Star appearance. The talent's there. It's just a question of how healthy he can stay long term. If you can trade Chris Bubic, as well as maybe a prospect, a Blake Mitchell by chance, just because of the amount of a logjam you have in terms of your prospect catching depth, and get an everyday left fielder, somebody that can really move the needle for your outfield in terms of its ability at in the box at the batter's plate. Great. I think that's what the Royals need to do. Chris Bubic is the guy that I would trade if I was the Royals. I'm pleasantly surprised to hear this news. I just didn't know that there was going to be a market for Chris Bubic. I thought that the market for Noah Cameron would be, frankly, the only one of substance to exist that didn't involve trading for, a bunch of questionable prospects that may or may not pan out. If you can trade Chris Bubic for an MLB-proven left fielder, fantastic. That's the right course of action. We'll see if it comes to fruition. Changing gears now, let's talk a little National Football League. Week 11 was an interesting one. Let's start it out not talking about Chiefs and Broncos, because I want to avoid that one like the plague. I also, frankly, want to avoid what everybody in Spain had to endure. That's what us Americans put in front of the Spaniards, really, was Dolphins Commanders. Feel bad for those people, man. Folks that had to go watch that. Dolphins beat the Commanders 16-13. Of course, Jaden Daniels is still hampered by the hamstring. He didn't play. So Marcus Mariota goes out, throws the only touchdown pass of the game, but he also threw the game's only interception. Tua did pretty much everything he possibly could to not lose the game, while seemingly doing nothing to help the Dolphins win the game. Their entire offense was reliant on the play of Ollie Gordon and Devon Achane, who those two went for a combined 165 on the ground. Tua had 170 yards through the air. They only threw it 20 times. They ran it 31 times. Just allowed the Commanders to make mistakes, and then did what little they had to do throughout this game. Riley Patterson, with 3 made field goals in this one, was the difference. He ended up winning it, on top of the fact that Matt Gay missed 2 field goals in this one as well. So the Dolphins, 4-7. Do they make the playoffs? No. But I think at this point, all they're doing is hurting their draft stock. Here's a stat that'll make your stomach turn a little bit if you're a Chiefs fan. You ready for this, Chris? We are existing in a world today, in 2025, with a healthy Patrick Mahomes at starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And despite that, the Carolina Panthers have a better record than the Chiefs do. Would you have put money on that coming into the year? That in week 11 of the season, the Panthers would have a better record than the Chiefs?
No, but if we're talking about regression, the Panthers have an easier schedule than the
Oh,
Chiefs
for sure,
do.
man. Last place schedule, right?
Yeah, and the Chiefs have clearly regressed in at very minimum their play calling and their execution late in games.
But hey, man, give Bryce Young a little bit of credit. Was he accurate on Sunday? Yes. 448 through the air and 3 touchdowns, despite the fact that the guy was sacked 5 times. Good on Carolina. I mean, absolute home run so far, drafting Ted McMillan. He's unbelievable.
I mean, he was the easiest receiver to draft.
Oh, 100%.
6'5". You just throw it up to him, man. It's this is the reason why. It was funny when there was so much criticism of him because of stuff that he said pre-draft. I'm like, look, like he's the easiest receiver to throw the football to in this draft.
6'5", 212. He runs a sub 4.5 40.
Yeah.
Big, strong kid. I mean, why not?
Like
And
it's the reason why like Mike Evans has always been good in his time in Tampa, because it's really easy when you have someone that's athletic, that's the size that he is, that has the catch radius that he has, and you don't have to be that accurate to get the ball to him.
yeah, unless your name's Calvin Benjamin, right? I guess he's maybe the only outlier that we could.
Yeah,
we could
Kelvin
discuss.
Benjamin had weight issues, and
100%.
he kind of coasted on his talent. He wasn't as talented as McMillan and Mike Evans are, but he's I get what you're saying.
He had 8 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Even Xavier Legette had a good day, 4 for 83 and a touchdown. If Legette can continue to improve, those two can become a really, really impressive wide receiver duo in this league. I think that it's very obvious already at this point that McMillan is the wide receiver 1 for the Carolina Panthers. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, it was a solid enough day for Michael Penix, 13 of 16 for 175, but unfortunately he leaves with an injury that went from bad to worse. It sounded like there was significant damage to his left knee, which calls a lot into question for the Atlanta Falcons, because coming into the National Football League, it was his right knee that was the issue. He tore his right ACL twice when he was at Indiana back in college. Now he's seemingly having problems with that left knee. So you're telling me that both legs are somewhat compromised. He's already had rotator cuff surgery as well on his throwing arm. A lot of injury concerns piling up on somebody that you spent a top 10 pick on a couple of years ago.
I mean, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
Again, this is a guy, you brought up multiple ACL injuries when he was at Indiana. That was always going to be the thing that hurt him. He has incredible arm strength, and you know that he's got the ability to get the ball where he needs to. It's just, one, you do question the processing power at this level, and 2, you worry about his long-term health. I mean, that's the reason why he's like, I think he got drafted in the league when he was like 24. So, yeah, you that's the risk you take when you take a guy with the kind of talent he has, but a guy who stayed around in college for forever.
He spent 4 years at Indiana. 3 of them ended with season-ending injuries, and then he transferred and spent 2 years at Washington. So, yeah, he was every bit of 24, 25 years old coming into the league. And going back to the Carolina side, give Bryce Young a ton of credit. Throwing for 450 yards on that Falcons secondary that coming into this week was the number 1 pass defense in the National Football League. It's a really impressive day for Bryce Young. And to do it with the accuracy, it's not like he threw the ball 55 times and completed 24 of them, and a bunch of them just happened to be like 50-plus yard. I mean, 31 of 40. He completed over 2/3 of his passes in that football game. Really impressive day for Bryce Young. Elsewhere in the NFL, we saw the Houston Texans win a game, but win it very ugly against a bad Tennessee Titans team.
That's every game they play.
Yeah, valid. That's valid. They have a really good defense, and their offense, especially their running game, the injury to Joe Mixon has wreaked irrevocable havoc on this Texans offense, in my opinion. Their offensive line is still not good. I mean, whether it's C.J. Stroud, who's now going to miss his 3rd straight game. He's not going to play against the Bills this week with the concussion that he got a couple of weeks ago. That's his 3rd straight missed game. Whether it's him at quarterback or Davis Mills, you're running for your life. and their running game can do little to nothing. I mean, Woody Marks averaged 2.5 yards a carry. Nick Chubb only touched the football on the ground 3 times. You know, they brought in Chubb to kind of pair with Woody Marks with Mixon being out. And I dropped him for my fantasy team at this point. I don't know if he's coming back this year at all. It doesn't sound good, but their defense is going to continue to keep them in football games. That's exactly what they did. They are right now the only defense rated higher than the Denver Broncos so far this year. The Texans have been that good. Not that it should be a surprise with somebody like DeMeco Ryans leading them. But the Texans have quietly gotten themselves back in the hunt, right? I mean, they started out the year 0-3. They were 3-5 then at one point. But after wins against the Jags and the Titans, they're now 5-5 and currently ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC playoff standings. Do I think that will last? No, because the next 3 games for the Texans are the Bills at home without CJ Stroud, on the road against the Colts, and then they have to go on the road and play the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't love that schedule if you're the Houston Texans, but no Petrie, no CJ Stroud against the Bills this week. I don't think that plays out very well.
And even with Stroud, their offense has not been good this year. You brought up the offensive line; they still haven't fixed that. Running game situation sucks. Receiving core, they're still trying to figure that out. The Tank Dell loss, that really, really wrecked them. That really hurt that team. And I think CJ Stroud's confidence has been hurt by the Tank Dell injury too. And so, yeah, they have not. I said this before. I said this early, maybe like 2 weeks ago or whatever, week or two ago. If they can figure the offense out, they're a real championship contender because that defense is great. And, it's like I think CJ Stroud is still, has a potential to be a great quarterback. They're a complete mess on the offensive side. Between injuries and roster issues, they're a mess all over that side of the football.
If they can address the offensive line and the running back position this offseason, I think the sky could be the limit for them moving forward. With how good that defense is, you've got your guy at quarterback, in my view, in CJ Stroud. I know that there's been a regression from the mean from last year to this year, and even from his rookie year to last year. But you look at Nico Collins, you get Tank Dell back next year, along with Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. So you've got a full gambit of wide receivers, a solid enough tight end in Dalton Schultz. You keep them you keep the CJ Stroud protected at the quarterback position. You open up some lanes in the running game with a new back and a revamped offensive line. I think that Texans team could be pretty impressive. We'll have to wait and see. More on Week 11 in the NFL coming up next here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Chris Unocero, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Lunch hour? Fuel up fast with lunch at the Lodge. Bite into our juicy cheeseburger and fries, fresh chicken Caesar salad, or turkey avocado smash with sweet potato fries. Hearty, quick, and made to satisfy. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time. But it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, It's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
He's a world champion arm wrestler and one of QC Kinetics' most outspoken advocates. When Monster Mike Todd severely injured his bicep, doctors recommended a career-ending surgery.
Well, I definitely was never going to do that because I'm a competitive athlete.
And he didn't have to because the QC Kinetics medical team jumped into action, treating the damage using Mike's own orthobiologics. No need for surgery.
I think QC Kinetics was a huge help in my recovery. The percentages were that I would never make it back to this level.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments have helped transform, relieve, and restore thousands of patients with injuries and joint pain.
There's a pretty good chance that with under 15 weeks, I'll be competing for the heavyweight world title. Yeah, so I might be 24-time world champion by the end of the year.
You got this, Mike. And for anyone listening who's dealing with joint pain, the QC Kinetics consultation is free. So give them a call today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Did you know we have an Instagram channel? MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, Best Bets, Fantasy Football Advice, and real-time updates during Chiefs games. Get behind-the-scenes content from all the guys on a daily basis. It's exactly why Instagram was created, to look at a bunch of 30-year-old dudes giving sports opinions. Kansas City's FM sports station and your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, for those of us who decided to write off Josh Allen from MVP conversations earlier this year, spoke too soon. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Chris Uno Cero. Buffalo Bills beating the Buccaneers 44-32 behind a 6-touchdown day for Josh Allen. 317 through the air, 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for 40 yards on 6 carries and had 3 touchdowns on the ground. Yes, goes without saying, he also threw 2 interceptions, one of which was egregious. I mean, that one on the goal line where he just sort of like two-hand chest passed it to a receiver and threw it well behind him and got picked off by a linebacker. Not a good look. But 6 total touchdowns in a game is enough to make anybody look at you and be like, okay, you won the MVP last year. Yeah, you're still a pretty remarkable player. So far this season, he's top 10 in passing yards, top 10 in passing touchdowns, while also, I believe he's either first, I think he's first, right, in rushing touchdowns by quarterbacks so far this year. He's first in yards. But I believe he's also first in touchdowns other than maybe Jalen Hurts.
That's what I'm saying. It should be him or Jalen Hurts.
He's got 10 rushing touchdowns. I don't know off the top of my head how many rushing touchdowns Hurts has so far this year. It's definitely been a little bit slower for him because of how slow the running game has been, or really the offense has been for the Philadelphia Eagles as of late. So far this season, he's got 6 rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, Josh Allen leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns by quarterbacks this year, as well as yards with 350. Huge win. They beat Tampa Bay by 12, 44-32, a game where defense was optional, a game where the offense didn't even come from Baker Mayfield in the passing game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Didn't come from Rashad White. Obviously didn't come from Bucky Irving because he's still trying to come back from the injury. It was Sean Tucker. 106 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. Rashad White had 5 yards of carry. I mean, Tampa ran for 200 yards in this one. But it wasn't enough as the Bills win it by 12. They are now 7-3, trying to stay in the hunt with the New England Patriots in the AFC East, because right now it's the Pats leading that division so far this year. Elsewhere in the National Football League, another game that was one ugly. The Chicago Bears beating the Minnesota Vikings 19-17. The Vikings in this game did not eclipse 300 total yards. J.J. McCarthy is what a lot of us said before he was drafted. Not that guy. J.J. McCarthy is not a franchise quarterback. I said that when he was at Michigan. I said that before the draft, during the draft, after the draft. I don't see it. I've never seen it. 16 of 32 for 150, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. He has no chemistry, no real connection with Justin Jefferson at all. I mean, he's got, 22 targets to Justin Jefferson in the last 2 weeks, and Jettis has maybe a 50% catch rate on that because J.J. McCarthy throws everything at Mach 10. Every time he throws the football, it's got to be at the speed of light, whether it's a 3-yard check down or a 40-yard bomb. I just do not think J.J. McCarthy is a good quarterback. I can't understand why the Vikings let Sam Darnold walk. I can't figure it out.
Well, they had to let him walk because they used the top 10 pick on J.J. McCarthy. I was never a fan of J.J. During the pre-draft process before he came out in 24. Did not like him. I thought that he was one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. I think the only ones I could think of the top of my head that were worse that I thought were worse before the draft: Jamarcus Russell, E.J. Manuel, Tim Tebow. That's probably it. JJ was very overrated in Michigan, did not really show the physical traits to be an NFL quarterback. The reason why he throws everything like a bullet is because he doesn't have great arm strength. He cannot get the ball down the field in a timely manner. So he has to throw fastballs every time he has the ball in his hands because it's the only way he can get it there on time. But, he lacks the arm strength to be an NFL quarterback at an elite level, at even a good level, I think. And I don't really think he understands the offense very well. And his ball placement's absolutely terrible. Like, he does not put the ball where he needs to. And, if you have a 50% catch rate with Justin Jefferson, you're not a good quarterback.
No.
Because that man catches everything. And so if you're hitting, 50% of your passes with him, it means you are very, very inaccurate. So I get why they decided to go with McCarthy over Darnold. That's what I thought they were going to do. But it's not something I would have done. I would have stuck with the better quarterback. I would never have drafted J.J. McCarthy. I think the only reason why he got drafted was because of intangibles. But intangibles don't win you games when you don't have the talent to go out there and win games that way. Yeah, so
he was a top 10 pick because he was a winner.
He was an intangibles guy.
He was a quarterback who led a team to a national championship.
He was a leader.
Like, he didn't have the best defense in the last quarter century in college football.
Like, he didn't have two
NFL running backs.
Great tandem there of running backs. They were super talented on defense, too. They had tons of players get drafted from that team. And he was the one that got the credit because we always give quarterbacks too much credit. And, he never deserved to be a first-round pick.
I say all this like I'm saying that Caleb Williams had a great day, too. He did not. Completed 50% of his passes, threw for less than 200 yards. It was really what he was able to do minimally on the ground and what DeAndre Swift was able to do just controlling the football and not turning it over that ultimately won the Bears this football game. Chicago's a team that I don't think is being talked about enough in playoff circles, not as a contender. Do not get me confused here and say that I think the Bears can contend in the NFC. What I'm saying is they're a playoff team right now. They are 7-3. They've got remaining games left against Pittsburgh, Philly, Green Bay, Cleveland, Green Bay again, San Francisco, Detroit. That's a gauntlet. You've got to play Green Bay twice. You've got the Eagles on the schedule. You've got Detroit on the schedule. Pittsburgh, if Rodgers misses time, if Rodgers can't go this Sunday, and that Cleveland game, the Bears win a game that they shouldn't somewhere in this stretch, right? Presumably. This is a 10 or 11 win football team potentially.
Yeah, I think the Bears will make the playoffs. I think the thing with Caleb's not used to playing with this much structure. Like, he's a guy that when he was at USC, Lincoln just let him do whatever the hell he
wing
wanted.
it a little bit,
just
right?
It's not even, just do whatever the hell you want. Like, we'd like you to throw it to this receiver. We'd like you to attack this part of the field, but do whatever you want, my guy. And it's like when you're used to doing that, and then your coach is like, we want you to be pretty rigidly structured like Ben Johnson does, then yeah, it's going to be tough for you to adjust to that because you're having to now like up your processing speed. You're now having to get the ball out on time, and you didn't really do that often when you were playing in college. So he's now having to relearn the quarterback position because it's not what he was doing before. So, I mean, I think he's showing some promise, but it's a long he's still got a long road until he's able to go out there and kind of play the Ben Johnson offense the way that like Jared Goff was doing in Detroit.
He's certainly got the weapons to do it as of right now. When you got guys like Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, I like the possibilities with Luther Burden and what they've got at tight end with their young guy there. This Bears team has some promise to it, and I'm with you. I think that they're a playoff team. Do I think they contend? No, I think they probably lose their wild card game. But year one, new head coach, bringing in a new scheme, you make the playoffs. That's a really, really good floor for the Bears moving forward. 913-586-7965 is our number. 8 more NFL games from Week 11 to break down. We'll do that next here on After Hours, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hi, I'm Dylan, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a customer service specialist, I love helping couples find their dream engagement ring. And guess what? I just got engaged, so it was fun to create one myself. First, my fiance tried on a bunch of ring styles and she was drawn to a classic diamond pave setting. Then we looked at different diamond shapes from pear to oval to cushion. She fell in love with the princess cut. At Shane Company, you can create a one-of-a-kind ring and get it in days, not weeks. Because a friend wants you to have a magical holiday proposal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
In today's market, you need an agent you can trust to secure the best deal tailored to your unique situation, not a generic approach. Don Sharp is that agent. That's the advantage of working with the Sharp Homes team. They can give you so many different options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, ask them about their instant offer program. If you're looking to buy or sell, contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Don Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Find out more. Google Sharp Homes team.
Gates Barbecue's distinctive flavors will make your holiday meals unforgettable. Spice up your holiday table with Gates sauces and seasonings. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates seasonings, and top it off with one of the 5 Gates sauces. While watching a game or your favorite holiday movie, sprinkle Gates original seasoning on a bowl of hot buttered popcorn. So good. You can buy Gates at your neighborhood grocer or online at gatesbarbecue.com. Gates Barbecue, still doing it the old-fashioned way. Thanks with love.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Delden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Get ready, Missouri. Kickoff is near. The world's largest sports book is coming to your fingertips. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. With high and transparent app limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Start betting like a pro in Missouri on December 1st. Learn about your new bookie today at circasports.com. The world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports launches December 1st.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbors' attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes! T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Before we get back to our NFL conversation we were having before the break, big news out of the NBA. Sounds like LeBron James is back. He's going to be making his debut tonight against the Utah Jazz. When he steps on the floor, it will begin a record-breaking 23rd season in the NBA. He missed the first 14 games of the year dealing with a sciatica issue, a nerve issue that he was having with his lower back and the right side of his body. But King James returning to an NBA court for a Lakers team that is playing good ball right now. I believe they're 10-4, 9-5 at the moment. So that is going to be a huge boon for the Los Angeles Lakers here as the season goes on. The college football playoffs latest rankings were released just now. Ohio State is at number 1 once again. Indiana number 2. A&M is number 3. Georgia is the new number 4 in the latest college football playoff rankings. Texas Tech is up to number 5. Ole Miss sitting at 6. Oregon 7. The last 4, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama, Miami, and the number 12 seed right now, that group of 5 team at the moment, is Tulane. We'll see, of course, how the rest of it unfolds. We still have a couple more weeks before things ultimately come to a close. And, hey, so far so good for the Kansas Jayhawks. 26-20 right now. Kansas leads it over the Duke Blue Devils. So far, Flory Badunga is winning that one-on-one against Cam Boozer. Badunga's 8 of 8 from the floor on a perfect 4 of 4 shooting. Meanwhile, Cam Boozer is 2 for 5 shooting and only has 5 points so far in this one. Jayhawks, this would be a massive win for them. Beating a top 5 ranked Duke team without your best player in Darren Peterson. We'll see if they can hold on for another 30 minutes or so. Back to our NFL Week 11 conversation. One team that I just can't figure out how good they actually are. Like, I know they're a good football team, but, like, are they a Super Bowl contending team? Is the Green Bay Packers. They're 6-3-1 right now. They've got some impressive wins. They've got some ugly wins, too. Plus, they had that weird tie with the Cowboys in which nobody could stop anybody. I just don't know what to make of Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. They beat they beat New York on Sunday. They beat the Giants 27-20. And in a game where, of course, there is no Cam Scatterbo. He's out for the year. Jackson Dart didn't play. So Jameis Winston started at quarterback. And you didn't throw for 200 yards. You had to scratch out 100 yards on the ground. And that included a scramble from Malik Willis at one point when Jordan Love had to leave the game briefly, and sort of an end around kind of a thing with Bo Melton that went for 17 yards. You got 80 combined out of Emmanuel Wilson and Josh Jacobs on 18 combined carries. I just don't know what to make of the Green Bay Packers right now.
I mean, I think they're going to go where Jordan Love takes them. And he's been really inconsistent this year. He'll have a great game. He'll have a couple of great games. And then he'll have games where he is just incredibly ineffective and just looks completely out of sync. Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers are a talented team, and I think if they get hot, they absolutely can win the Super Bowl. But, I mean, if Jordan Love does not step his game up in the playoff run, if he does not go out there and carry this offense, they're going to lose their first playoff game because this team is going to go where the quarterback takes them. They have always been a team. They're always a system that's been heavy on how the quarterback plays. And when you had Aaron Rodgers there and he was playing really well, you were winning. And then when he started to fall off a bit his last year there, they missed the playoffs, and all of a sudden they're starting to look towards their future there. Look, if Jordan Love doesn't step his game up, if he's not the killer that he's shown himself he can be from time to time, this team is going to disappoint a lot of people considering the kind of talent they have.
And that's the concern I have is I don't know if Jordan Love is that guy. I don't know if Jordan Love has that sort of consistent killer in him. He doesn't wow me like the veteran guys in Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. And he doesn't scream can't miss talent to me the way that young guys like a Drake May are doing right now for the New England Patriots.
I think he's got the arm talent. My issue is it doesn't seem like he has the processing speed. And sometimes it looks like the game's too fast for him. And he's dropping back in the pocket, and it's like if he's not decisive about when he's going to get rid of the ball, if he's sitting there waiting, sometimes he can make one of those throws where it takes him like 4 seconds and he finds a guy and he makes that perfect throw. But most of the time when he's holding on to the football for a really long period of time, it's usually not good. And so I think LaFleur should probably try to give him some easier looks so he can kind of build his confidence up. Because I'd like to see him use his mobility more because he can run. And there's just times where I feel like he's so dead set on trying to prove everyone that he can win from the pocket that, I think he hurts his team sometimes because sometimes you just you need to use the weapons you have. And his legs are also a weapon, and he just doesn't feel like he wants to use them as much as he should.
A good news, bad news situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. They get a blowout win against the Bengals, 34-12. The defense played extremely well. Joe Flacco was ineffective. One touchdown, one pick. The running game, Chase Brown, 5.5 yards a carry. Felt like they maybe could have involved him a little bit more. But again, when you got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to throw the football to, you're kind of in that position, although things between Flacco and Jamar Chase, not good on Sunday. 10 targets, only 3 catches. Jamar Chase, of course, suspended for this upcoming week's game after he spit on Jalen Ramsey.
Did you see what his argument is reported to be?
No, I saw the report that, the allegation that he spit on him and Jamar Chase completely denying it. And then the report, the video comes out and it's like, yeah, dog, you spit on him. Like, we all saw it.
His argument is if I was really wanted to spit on him, I would have hit him in the face instead of the jersey. And I'm like, come on now.
Really?
That's his argument. Supposedly, that's his argument that he's going to go to his appeal with.
He's going to, if I wanted to spit on him.
He's going to fly all the way out to New York to be like, if I really wanted to spit on him, I'd have hit him in the face.
I'd have done what Jalen Carter did and spit in his face. Like, hey, maybe we just don't spit on people. Maybe no part of the body we spit on. That's a thought.
It is
just a suggestion.
It's one of the stupidest arguments I've heard. It's one of the stupidest things. You're gonna get tossed.
Yeah, that appeal's getting dismissed.
You're losing a game if you get caught spitting on somebody on the field. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just disrespectful, man. I'd rather you throw a punch. I'd rather you punch me in the face than spit on me.
Yeah, I mean, where I'm from, if you spit on somebody's face, somebody's getting punched in the face.
Yeah, fair. Which is exactly what Jalen Ramsey did, right?
Somebody getting punched in the face. Like, that's just how it is. Like, that's what it leads to. I just don't get, why would you lie about that too? Because, we have all these high-definition cameras.
Yeah, man.
All over the place, and you're going to be recorded.
It's more cameras in an NFL game than a bank, my guy. Somebody's going to see it.
You are one of the biggest stars in the game. They're going to film everything you do. They're going to have a camera on you on the sideline when you're sitting there talking to your teammates. You got to know that they're going to see that. What is he doing?
Yeah, and good, bad, or otherwise, for a player even as immensely talented as Jamar Chase, he's developed a reputation at this point, right? This is become a part of who he is. The on-field antics, the unsportsmanlike stuff, right? The bumping the official and throwing the helmet in that Chiefs game a couple of years ago when he was frustrated with Trent McDuffie. Like, this has become one and the same with Jamar Chase, which is unfortunate for a guy as talented as this man is.
He's a very emotional guy, and I do respect people that have the passion like that. But it's like you gotta know how to
be smarter than that.
You gotta know how to control that passion there, and he doesn't seem to he knows how to do that.
And big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It wasn't all good news though. Aaron Rodgers left the game. Turns out he fractured his left wrist. Obviously, it's not his throwing arm. They confirmed with tests today that he won't need surgery, but he is going to need to be cleared by doctors in order to be able to play on Sunday against the Bears. So right now he's listed as questionable. We'll see how the rest of the week plays out. More NFL news coming up, 913-586-7965. Final segment of After Hours on the way next here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hi, we're the people who have everything.
There's nothing you can get us we don't have.
We have 7 mini vacuums.
And Pearl handled pickleball rackets.
See?
Need a gift for someone who has everything? The Kansas Lottery has you covered with holiday scratch tickets in $1, $2, $5, $10, and $20 options, with instant wins up to $100,000. You could win even more in second chance drawings.
Did he say thousands?
We could always use that.
See kslottery.com for details.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there, with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Painkillers, steroids, ice packs, and gravity chairs. Nothing relieved Abby's back pain, but the answer was right there the whole time.
I've heard the QC Kinetics commercials many times on the radio, and it seemed like all of a sudden, everywhere I went, every store I went into, when I'd get in my car, there was the QC Kinetics commercial. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the idea. I'm supposed to go and check out and have a consultation.
Patients who have exhausted every means for relief are always welcome at QC Kinetics. In fact, tens of thousands around the country will tell you that QC Kinetics regenerative treatments helped relieve their chronic joint pain without any surgery or harmful drugs.
I feel like a person that's never had back pain. And I have written QC Kinetics and the phone number down on my business card so many times I can't count.
Abby can't stop talking about what QC Kinetics did for her. Now it's your turn. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Afternoon slate of NFL games from Sunday. Rams won an ugly one against the Seattle Seahawks in a game that really felt like the Seahawks lost it more than the Rams won it. I mean, LA just took advantage of every mistake and opportunity that Seattle gave them for 4 quarters. Sam Darnold threw 4 picks. Rams only scored 21 points. You know, it's not like Matthew Stafford threw for 350 and 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams I didn't even think he got over 100 yards rushing in this football game either. It just seemed like Seattle, and specifically Sam Darnold, just kept putting themselves against the wall, and the Rams just let them. Just let them make the mistakes for us and take advantage when you get the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, when Sam Darnold is your opponent at quarterback, you just got to force him to make some mistakes. That's what the Lions did in Week 18 of last year, and that's what who they play in the playoffs. Did they play the Rams in the playoffs?
The Vikings?
Yeah.
Last year, yes. It was the Rams.
And same thing happened.
Yep.
So it's like you just let Sam Darnold make mistakes and he'll make mistakes. That's his game. Talented quarterback, but I don't really like his IQ as a quarterback. I think he's one of those guys you gotta make it easy for him. That's what Kevin O'Connell did for him last year throughout most of the year. Teams realized, well, if we speed his processing up, he's going to have some problems, and that's what happened.
That front for the Los Angeles Rams made life miserable for Sam Darnold on Sunday.
Yeah, if you put pressure on him, he's going to make some mistakes, and that's exactly what happened.
The Jags did exactly what every Chiefs fan hoped they wouldn't do, and that is blow out the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday, 35-6. LA's offense did absolutely nothing all day. Herbert left the game with an injury. Trey Lance came in and did nothing.
Trey Lance did Trey Lance things.
Yeah, the running game was non-existent. Between Kamani Vidal and Amar Johnson and Travion Williams, those 3 guys, those 3 running backs combined for 10 carries for 20 yards. Leading rusher in the game was Justin Herbert with 21 yards rushing on 3 carries. You did not have 150 yards of total offense.
Really hurt my fantasy team because I got Lab McConkey, and he didn't do anything.
Nothing, man.
4 points in that game.
Nothing. The Jags just ran the football, controlled the clock. They win it 35-6. 4 rushing touchdowns. Bashul Tutton had 15 carries for 74. Travis Etienne, 19 for 73. They just ran the ball right down the throat of the LA Chargers for 4 quarters. They win it. They're now 6-4 this year, pretty much putting themselves 2 games up on the Kansas City Chiefs due to the tiebreaker. So if they go 10-7 and the Chiefs go 10-7, well, guess who's getting in? It's Jacksonville because they won that matchup earlier this year. The Niners handled the Arizona Cardinals. No surprise there. Brock Purdy in his first game back threw for 3 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, still as incredible as we thought he was. Over 120 yards of total offense, 3 total tutties, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. The Baltimore Ravens got a ugly win against the Cleveland Browns, 23-16. Dylan Gabriel left with an injury. Shadur Sanders came in, and yikes. 4 for 16, 47 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The running game, not much better for Cleveland. They didn't get to 200 yards of offense in this one. Same thing. There was more of a split between run and pass for the Ravens, but they ran the ball 30 times to only 25 pass attempts. Lamar threw 2 picks, and yet the Ravens still won this game by 7 points because of just how bad the Browns' offense was.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks for the Browns is there's not going to be a great option at quarterback in next year's draft. So
nope.
means you're going to have to suck next year and then hope that the 27 class is really good at quarterback, which it could be. But we thought next year's class was going to be really good, and it's absolute garbage for quarterbacks. So, man, it's tough. It's tough to not have a quarterback right now because the market is not great.
And the Browns haven't had one for 50 years. Who should expect things to be any different? Eagles. Their defense is outstanding. The offense leaves a lot to be desired. A.J. Brown, it's very evident he wants the hell out of there.
He is mad.
That man is done. He is so beyond done. And then last night, Monday Night Football, Cowboys put up a 33-piece on the Las Vegas Raiders. Shouldn't surprise anybody. I had money on the Cowboys covering last night. I appreciate you very much, Dallas.
Easy cover.
Colts and Saints on bye weeks. So that was the NFL in Week 11. Last little update I've got for you before we get out of here. The Duke Blue Devils have found their stride. They're now up 5 on the Kansas Jayhawks, less than 3 minutes to go in the first half. For my producer, Chris Unocero, I'm Logan Weber. Thanks for joining us here on After Hours. Thanks for getting involved in the text line as always. We'll be back with you tomorrow night, 7 to 9 p.m. right here on After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you